What's up everyone, Thralls here once again. I'm Necrotic Nick, and I have another album review for you. So another one that came out on the 11th of March that I had my eye on because I absolutely loved their EP that came out before this was the debut full-length from Cryptworm, Spewing Mephitic Putridity. This comes out on Misako Un Rojo Records, which I have no idea what that means. I don't know, it probably means something gross, more than likely, which would totally fit with this band because this is just a filthy, disgusting band in all the right ways. It's kind of cool when you talk about death metal and you say words like filthy, disgusting, wretched. Death metal fans instantly know, like, oh, this sounds pretty fucking sweet. Everyone else is like, why would you listen to that? Anyway, this band formed in 2014 in Bristol, England. This, again, is their debut full-length. They have two other EPs, one split and a demo, and this is filthy, disgusting, wretched death metal. This is a two-man project, actually features members of Rathadas, which is an awesome Hungarian death doom band, and Pale Mist, which is a black metal band from the UK, I believe. Now again, I heard about these guys through their EP, Reeking Gunk of Abhorrence, which, holy shit, I love that title. Actually, I like that title more than this album title, but this album title is still pretty fucking awesome. They just use the word gunk. No one uses the word gunk. It sounds disgusting, but in a whimsical way. I don't know, I just like the word gunk. And that EP pretty much showcased their sound, which is definitely a lot of Autopsy Worship, early Broken Hope, maybe even some early Carcass in there, because this album, this band revels in filth and just being flat out disgusting. And if you don't believe me, check out some of these song titles. The opening track, Disgorged Chunks of Life, immediately just explodes into absolutely foul, murky death metal. The production on here is sludgier than hell. I mean, not as though I was super surprised that was kind of the production on the EP, but the guitars sound exceptionally muddy, but kind of in a cool way. Now, I think the bass and the guitars kind of blend together a little bit, but the one thing that kind of surprised me is the drums sound really fucking good. Like, they don't sound deliberately muddied up. They actually just sound kind of raw. Very much like a live sort of feel. Actually, I would say live is kind of the feel on this album because it really just kind of skips any pretense. Like, every song just pretty much explodes into whatever they're about to do, which is generally just fucking gross. And I was a little shocked that there wasn't like one horror sample or one creepy sample of something dripping or oozing, because oozing and dripping is kind of a thing this album does. It's just fucking gross sounding. Like, I could have sworn there was some sort of like weird green liquid oozing out of my ear after listening to this, just like rotting brain matter. Like, this thing corroded some thoughts and memories. Like, I don't remember what eggs taste like now, I think. I don't know. This album may have fucked me up a little bit. And if the riffs and the production of this album wasn't filthy enough, you have the vocals. The vocals are fucking foul. I hope they put like Visqueen down in the vocal booth for this guy's vocal takes, because there's phlegm, there's fucking probably some vomit in there, because it's just all disgusting. Like, when it's not a low gurgle, which kind of occasionally blends in with the music itself, it's these wretched screams and gurgles and gasps and wheezes and pukes. We'll just call them pukes. There's definitely some pukes. There's definitely a lot of bleh. And I think something came up with it. Like, definitely wash off that mic or just throw it the fuck out, because this was just nasty sounding. This was like listening to Tomb Mold with more barf and gurgle. Like, barf and gurgle is just kind of the vocal style on this, but it fits with the sludgy, dirty sound on here. This pretty much sticks to that Autopsy sort of like punky death metal sound, especially again on that opening track, and reduced to liquefied mass, which that sounds gross too. Lots of D beats. The drums are very energetic. The fills are fucking kind of crazy. And again, it's just kind of a loose sort of play. We don't bother with leads on here. Hell, I don't think we even bother with harmonies on here. This is just about coming up with the dirtiest, sludgiest riffs possible. And then occasionally venturing out into, I would say, like incantation territory. We're doing that giant stop, on a dime and transition to apocalyptic riffing and blast beats every now and then, just to make it even more crazy sounding. This is a very straightforward kind of one-track album that is a lot of fun to listen to, and I kind of appreciate the whole lack of like sophistication or like, hey, we can throw in a clever melody here. It's like, nah, fuck that. It doesn't sound fucking filthy enough. We stick to the filth. We are raised in the filth. We drank from the teat of filth. If there's a filth teat out there, I don't know. But that is kind of their one gear, but they play it really well, and there's a fair amount of like variety and a little bit of nuance, but not like nuance again when you say like, oh, that was a very nice melodic hook. Like, oh no, that was a little bit different brand of filth. We have giant Death Doom breaks, the opening and closing of amorphous transmutations, steeped in just filthy death doom. Very Hooded Menace, definitely some Mental Funeral sort of vibes from Autopsy on that one. And the beginning of the song Premature Entombment actually brings in some dissonant melodies. It's a little bit creepier, more unsettling, like slightly less filth. It's still there, but it's creepy, evil filth. I don't know how else to describe it. I'm going to be using the word filth a lot because this is just a kind of a gross listen, but I don't know, I kind of dig it. Like, I feel like I need to take a shower after reviewing this, and I took a shower before reviewing this. But since a lot of this kind of takes on, like, again, like a more of a punky Autopsy feel, at least in terms of like the more D-beat side of them, it was cool to hear some Death Doom breaks there to kind of break up the fucking blitz of riffs on here. But every now and then they kind of settle on some really cool hooks. Songs like Disembodiment / Draped in Gore. We could almost say Swamped in Gore. It's kind of that same feeling. Awesome opening riff, really cool kind of crawls in them, and it has like a distinct kind of hook to it. It's not like the most pleasant hook, it's more or less a hook dripping with like viscera and chunks of rotting whatever, but it's a hook nonetheless, and I really enjoyed it. Plus the groove behind it, which when this band settles into a cool groove, like it is just instantly headbangable. And Septic Phlegm Asphyxia, which sounds absolutely lovely. Delicious. Totally recommend it. 5 stars. It has an immensely catchy riff to it too. It's a little bit more beefy, a little bit more old school and fucking dirty sounding. And the vocals on Septic Phlegm Asphyxia are peak gross. There's actually a section on the song where the guitars kind of cut out for a little bit. You get a little bit of feedback. You can actually hear the bass tone, which is dirty as fuck. And it also seems to give the frontman a chance to just fucking gargle his own vomit for a fucking vocal take, and it sounds absolutely horrifying. But again, it kind of fits with the, at least, atmosphere generated by the music. Again, there's not much in terms of like atmosphere building on here. It's pretty much just go, 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 which honestly I didn't really mind. It kind of makes the pace of this album just kind of frantic and fun. It's barely over a half an hour, and it's pretty much filled with nothing but filthy, disgusting riffs. But at the same time, when they actually tease some really interesting hooks, again on Disembowelment / Draped in Gore, I kind of wanted to hear a few more of those, because every now and then you get these really cool chuggy breakdown riffs, or just like flat out just groovy hooks, and then it goes full tilt into chaotic. The song Amorphous Transmutations especially, it opens up brilliantly with that Death Doom opening. It sounds just fucking awesome. And then the middle of the song is kind of standard fare. Like, it's the rest of what you hear on this album, which again, it's good, but you're hearing it in other places and quite a bit. And then the end of it ends on one of the most distinct riffs on the entire album, this great chuggy outro. And I kind of felt like maybe that one song could have been like its lone, slower piece without doing the apocalyptic riffs and the blast beats. Like, it would have really stood out on the album, and it does stand out for mostly just the opening and the ending. Like, the middle part's still good, it just doesn't stand out from the rest of the album. And that is kind of an issue in here. There's a lot of bullet train stuff, but occasionally you get some really distinct hooks that are pretty much just one you'll hear on that song. Like, they don't get repeated very often. And while the guitars are doubled, there's not a lot of even like the ugly death metal harmonies, like some stuff to just make it sound a little bit creepier and a little bit more evil. But at the same time, the overall raw, disgusting vibe of this album is kind of what draws me into it. It makes it just stupid, gory fun, like watching a B movie with zombies dripping with, well, zombie shit. I don't give a fuck about a plot at that point. I just want to fucking eat my popcorn and watch people die in horrendous fashion and just see mindless gore left and right. And cheap practical effects. Those are fucking great too. This is kind of the embodiment of this album. It is just kind of old school horror, B-movie sort of filth, and it just revels in being over the top and kind of self-aware about it. And that makes this a fun listen. So I'm going to give this 3.5 stars. I dig this album. couple, moments on there where I think it kind of blends together, and there's some stuff I think that was a little bit left on the table, but overall, the whole feel of the album, the bullet train, one track after the other, it was kind of fun. I do think a little bit of like atmospheric, like horror synths or just dripping whatever samples might have actually helped this album out just a little bit and kind of like raise it above, but it's fun. It's just disgusting fun, and I love that kind of shit. Like, this is, not something you go into really study with a magnifying glass and I have to bring my keen analytical mind to it. No, that's, the dumb professor that starts the zombie apocalypse and is clearly the first one to fucking die in the lab. I'm not going to be that guy in the movie. I'm probably going to be some guy that dies horribly later in the movie, but I'm not going to be that guy. This is just filthy, gory, gross fun, and if you love stuff like Autopsy, Incantation, Witch Vomit, stuff like that, you're probably going to dig the shit out of this. If you like your death metal with, again, a little bit more melody, sophistication, this is not that release, but I still urge you to check it out because it's just fucking fun. So, if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up, and if you are new to the channel, subscribe because we do stuff like this all the time. We are also on Patreon. If you'd like to help us out there will be a link down below. There will also be a link to our giveaway if it is still going on and we haven't hit 10,000 subscribers yet, because we are pretty fucking close right now. But if it is still going on, we are giving away an Alien Weaponry vinyl. It is a limited print. We are also giving away one of our t-shirts, which if you would like one of your own, there's also a link to thrallsmetal.com where you can order one. And to further sweeten the pot, we are throwing in a $100 gift card to Bandcamp, which of course, spend it on a Friday, help the bands out. But yeah, we wanted to thank you guys for getting us this far, because 10,000 subscribers is well beyond what we thought we could do, and it has been absolutely amazing doing this. We love the banter, we love the comments, and we want to keep going because there's so much fucking cool metal to talk about. So, once again, thank you all from the bottom of my blackened, gross, dripping, green sludge pumping heart, because that feels appropriate for this review, and we will catch you later.